Hey guys, welcome back. I want to go over an article from the Christian Post. It talks about cohabitation preparing for divorce. And it talks about people who aren't married living together. And you see this all in society today where couples come in, they share everything with each other the first couple days, and then they live together. Then they get married some years later. And so I can kind of relate to this because my wife and I, we were together for 3.5 years. And then as soon as we got married, that's when we bought a place and we lived together. And so, I lived at my parents' house. My wife lived at her parents' house. And then, hey, we dated each other for 3.5 years. And then we got married. And then we bought a place and, lived together. That's the way. That's what traditional marriage and being together is supposed to be in the Bible. Is you're supposed to wait until you're married to live together. And it goes through here. It talks about some of the divorce rates, and you see people nowadays. Right off the bat, just within a couple weeks, a couple meet someone, they live together, and then it's not until years later that they get married, and then there's a lot of issues that happen and stem from that. And I'm not saying it doesn't work all the time. I'm a very conservative, traditional type, and I just believe in traditional marriage, and I think people should wait before living together. You wait till you're married. So let's jump into this. It comes from the Christian Post, and cohabitation preparing for divorce, question mark. It says, marriage is a gift from God, but marriage is in a sad state in America today, and we all suffer because of it. I read recently about the movie star Joan Crawford, who was legendary in her promiscuity. As her rival, Betty Davis, once reportedly sneered about her, she slept with every male star at MGM except Lassie. Apparently, in the miserable and difficult childhood of Lucille Lesueur, who later adopted the name Joan Crawford, there was a wound from the absence of her father. I want to stop right here. That's a very important piece right there. There was a wound from the absence of her father. If you're a guy and you're a father, you're reading this or you're listening to this video, go check out a book. It's by Meg Meeker. It's called Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters. And this lady, she's actually a Christian, but she's also like a therapist at the same time. And she interviews all these girls. And the number one thing that stems from these girls is they're fatherless, or their father is just basically missing or is no longer there. And so it's very important. A father has a crucial role in their daughter, just being able to be there as a protector and talking to her. And so if you're a father listening to this, it is crucial that you stay in your daughter's lives. And I'm actually part of this other ministry where people in jail, they'll send me letters. It's a Christian program, and they basically fill out these sentences, and there's questions there, and then I go in, basically read them and review them. And whenever I get a letter and it's from a girl, it just kind of hits my heart because I have two daughters, and I'm not 100% of these letters so far. The father is missing in her relationship. And so if you can, I think even if you have a son as well, the father obviously 100% needs to stay there, but the father is an integral part in that relationship of marriage between a man and a woman to stay in their daughter's life. So my heart really just goes out to this when I'm reading this article. And it says, according to Sean Constantine's book, Betty and Joan, which became the basis for the miniseries, The Feud, Constantine quotes someone else about Crawford's childhood being abandoned so often traumatized Joan. She spent the rest of her life looking for, listen to this, the rest of her life looking for a father in husbands, lovers, studio executives, and directors. To this, Constantine adds, when she found the ideal candidate, Joan felt safe, secure, validated. In time, she expected them to reject her. When they didn't, she grew suspicious, then resentful, and found ways to make them depart. So sad. So far from God's design, which is one man and one woman for life. And this is apparently a very controversial subject this day and age, is that if you hold this point of view, you're basically a bigot. Everyone hates you. And I already know that I'm going to get tons of hate comments on the bottom of this. But there's a lot of people that I know that are gay couples, they're married, and they know my point of view, and it's okay. We sit down and have healthy conversations. They know my point of view. I don't hate them by any means. This is what I believe, and for some reason, we just live in this polarized society where if I hold this point of view, people automatically tune me out. But there's also a lot of people that are on my side. But the very first marriage was in the Garden of Eden. This is what God instituted. He created marriage. Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. They were the first people who were married. And so that's just something I just wanted to go through. There's a lot of people that I know, they hold my point of view and completely oppose this, and we get along just fine. So just don't tune someone out. Let's sit down and have healthy conversations. This is what I believe, and I don't push it on anyone, but this is what the Bible teaches. His prohibitions against sex outside of marriage are for our good. And yeah, this is any type of sex. Any type of sex outside of marriage, doesn't matter what it is, it's not good. It's supposed to be specifically for marriage. And there's reasons for that. Think about that. Man, you have, just go read about diseases. There's new diseases out there being created. It seems like every single year there's something new out there. Look at this, the AIDS rate and all these different diseases. There's a reason God said, hey, you should be with one partner for the rest of your life. This holds true. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but my wife and I waited 3.5 years, and we were married together, shared everything together, and we waited. And I don't have to worry about any diseases and things going around. A fascinating article in recent Wall Street Journal highlighted the findings of a study based on the marriages and many divorces among 50,000 women in the National Survey of Family Growth. The headline and subheadline read, "Too risky to wed in your 20s. I got married when I was 23. Not a few avoid cohabitating first. Research shows that marrying young without ever having lived together with a partner makes," listen to this, I'm not making this up. Research shows that marrying young without ever having lived together with a partner makes for some of the lowest divorce rates. I think this is God's telling us something here. There's a reason he has this. It's not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and brag, say we have this perfect marriage, everything just goes as planned. No, I mean, of course we have disagreements, things happen, but our chances are higher that things are going to work out. And I feel like we have a very healthy relationship. And again, there's always things we can work on, but it's not like we're perfect. And it says, after reading that, someone can infer that it's best to avoid cohabitation before getting married. And I agree. I know so many people, it's so sad. I'm not going to mention stuff. We all know people have been getting divorced, and it's just so sad. I don't want to get into that. Brad Wilcox and Lyman Stone, the article's authors, observed the idea that cohabitation is risky is surprising, given that a majority of young adults believe that living together is a good way to pre-test the quality of your partners and your partnership. And yeah, I mean, my wife and I, we waited 3.5 years before we lived together, and to me, it was just a seamless transition. I didn't have to test anything out. Everything just seamlessly happened. But couples who live together before they are wed are less likely to be happily married and more likely to land in divorce court. I see it all the time today. On the topic of premarital sex, studies have found waiting to have sex until marriage is best. Even in the archives of UCLA, they cite a study from the Family Research Center in Washington, D.C., which says other findings indicate that having sex for marriage reduces the risk of divorce, and monogamous married couples are the most sexually satisfied Americans. If you're unfaithful before marriage, why should you be faithful after getting married? In previous generations, cohabitation was viewed as more of a scandal. Of course, not all marriages were good by any means. My dad used to tell a story where he and my mom were playing bridge one day against another couple. The woman kept yelling and berating her partner at every turn. Finally, Dad asked her, "Are you two married?" And she snapped, "Of course we are. Do you think I'd live in sin with an idiot like that?" While pointing to her henpecked husband, when I shared this anecdote with a friend, he thought that story might discourage someone from considering marriage instead of cohabitation. Well, without proper preparation, bad marriages happen. It does happen. There's people I know that have done all these things and it doesn't work out. It's not foolproof, but why not increase your chances? That's what it's all about. Hey, why not increase your chances of making things work out? Sadly, sometimes even with preparation. In my own life, I thank God for 42 years of empirical evidence that I married a saint. After all, my fantastic wife has put up with me for more than 4 decades. Thankfully, we spent more time preparing for the marriage than we did for the wedding. Jesus said, "I have come that they might have life and have it more abundantly." That includes our relationships. God's design for marriage is for our good and helps spare people a lot of unnecessary happiness. So that's it. That's the article. I just thought it was super interesting. And people are always catching up to the Bible, even secular sources. You know my stance on creation and the book of Genesis. These secular sources and science are always catching up to the Bible. People say, oh, no, the Bible's not a scientific book. It is 100%. Just go read it and you'll read articles. Just look at my playlist and you'll see so many articles where science is catching up to the Bible. So that's it. I just want to put that article out there. We release our main segment every Monday, and then we put a couple of videos out during the week, just some shorts as well. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.